Folks, welcome to the channel. I'm Don. This is Thinking Theology. If you haven't subscribed, think about hitting that subscribe button or the like button, the usual. I'm looking at Neil deGrasse Tyson. There's a video titled, Is Neil deGrasse Tyson an Atheist? And when Neil burst on the scene, 20 years ago or whenever he first started, to be in the public eye, sort of popularizing physics and cosmology and these sorts of things, I like the guy. Over time, though, I don't know, to me, he got a little pious, if you will. And I don't know, maybe that's the more you're exposed to anybody, they can annoy you. I'm sure that's true of me, but what have you. This is from 12 years ago, this video that I got. So at least it was posted then. So if he's changed, you can let us know in the comments. But I'm just going to be looking at what he's got to say about anything on this video from 12 years ago. Here we go.
I'm often asked, and occasionally in an accusatory way, are you atheist? The only ist I am is a scientist. All right. I don't associate with movements. I'm not an ism. I think for myself. The moment once someone attaches you to a philosophy or a movement, then they assign all the baggage and all the rest of the philosophy that goes with it to you.
That's true.
And when you want to have a conversation, they will assert that they already know everything important there is to know about you because of that association.
Ooh, that is a good point. That is very well made. That's true in politics, religion, nationalities, where it's broad brushing somebody. Oh, you're Canadian? It means this. Oh, you like Alabama, the Crimson Tide? That means this about whatever. We do this generalization type thing. It's part of our pattern recognition, pre-wired into us for survival, because you want to know if that's a lion or a bush. It kind of helps your survival rates if you know, oh, that actually is a lion, not a bush. And this is sort of a watered down version of it. When somebody thinks you're an atheist, it means all of these things about you, or a whatever-ist. All right.
And that's not the way to have a conversation.
No.
I'm sorry, it's not. I'd rather we explore each other's ideas in real time, rather than assign a label to it and assert you know what's going to happen in advance. So what people are really after is, what is my stance on religion or spirituality or God? And I would say if I had to find a word that came closest, it would be agnostic. Agnostic, a word dates from the 19th century, Huxley.
Not knowing.
To refer to someone who doesn't know, but hasn't yet really seen evidence for it, but is prepared to embrace the evidence if it's there, but if it's not, it won't be forced to have to think something that is not otherwise supported. Okay?
I think it may, in fact, now that I think of it, agnostic, the Gnostics were a group in Jesus' time too, who believed that the path to knowledge wasn't external, it was within you. This is my recollection of what Gnosticism entailed, is that there's just something that just knows the truth. And maybe, I don't think it's teleological in the sense that there's an end game or an end goal that, toward perfection and all, but almost in a Platonic sense that we can understand perfections or get closer to them from within. They won't be revealed from outside us. I think that's kind of Gnosticism. Some of you folks will know better than me, and you could put that in there, but agnostic just says, no, I don't have that knowledge within me. I don't know.
There are many atheists who say, well, all agnostics are atheists. Like, okay. I'm constantly claimed by atheists. I find this intriguing. In fact, on my wiki page, I didn't create the wiki page, others did, and I'm flattered that people cared enough about my life to assemble it. And it said, Neil deGrasse Tyson is an atheist. I said, well, that's not really true. I said, Neil deGrasse Tyson is an agnostic. Went back a week later, it said Neil Tyson's an atheist again, within a week. And I said, what's up with that? And I said, all right, now I have to word it a little differently. So I said, okay, Neil deGrasse Tyson, widely claimed by atheists, is actually an agnostic. And some will say, well, you're not being fair to the fact that they're actually the same thing. No, they're not the same thing, and I'll tell you why. Atheists I know who proudly wear the badge are active atheists. They're like in-your-face atheists, and they want to change policies, and they're having debates. I don't have the time, the interest, the energy to do any of that. I'm a scientist. I'm an educator. My goal is to get people thinking straight in the first place. Just get you to be curious about the natural world. That's what I'm about.
That's what
I'm not
doing.
about any of the rest of this. And it's odd that the word atheist even exists. I don't play golf. Is there a word for non-golf players? Do non-golf players gather and strategize? Do non-skiers have a word and come together and talk about the fact that they don't ski? I can't do that. I can't gather around and talk about how much everybody in the room doesn't believe in God.
That's a good-ass point.
I just don't have the energy for that. And so agnostic separates me from the conduct of atheists, whether or not there's strong overlap between the two categories. And at the end of the day, I'd rather not be any category at all.
All right. I'm glad I saw that. And that's me as well. Accepting that you don't know something it keeps you curious. It can also keep you kind of socially amenable to being able to maintain niceties among others, because people who come across as know-it-alls, even people with whom I agree, say on politics, most of them I do not enjoy speaking politics with because of the way they stand in it, that they're right, the other side's completely wrong, and that's not me. I like to engage in conversation. I'm curious to know someone else's trains of thought. I generally know what my lines of thinking are. I live with them. They're in there. I modify them, but I modify them from the outside in based on what other people say or discoveries, what James Webb Space Telescope might be discovering. And it's like, oh, well, maybe the speed of light isn't this insurmountable velocity or speed for objects with mass. Probability theory that is currently disagreeing with quantum mechanics, and how do you reconcile the two? Those are fun thought experiments. They don't change my life. What changes my life is my immediate interactions with people. You go into a parking lot and somebody cuts in front of you in your spot while you were waiting for, and you're all upset about it, right? That in the moment deteriorates the quality of your life. Whether somebody else is an atheist or a theist or a Christian doesn't change. Well, doesn't have to. But I did like the point he said is culturally, how did we get to the point that we do have a special classification for atheists versus theists? I think it's possible because it separates people not just from Christians or Jews or Muslims or Buddhists, but anybody who believes in a higher power, a being with his autonomous being with its own mind, his or her own mind, as we use pronouns, his or her own mind. It separates the people who don't believe in any form of that from those who do, whatever their strain is. And possibly that's etymologically why we came up with it, or culturally why we came up with it. I'm not sure, but it is a good question. And also, I think another relevant point relating to that point that he made is that there are a lot more people who do believe in a higher power than those who golf or ski, those were the two examples he used. So some things deserve a bigger classification or get a bigger classification over time. So saying, look, I don't believe in a higher power, I like the way he presented it too. He's like, there are people who are very aggressive, and some of them show up here on the channel, very aggressive. They see the name of the channel, Thinking Theology, and automatically assume you're trying to argue for a higher power. It's like, no, I'm not. I'm actually just analyzing arguments and checking out other people's arguments in favor of theology, against theology. I just happen to like the topic. I like ski. I don't go skiing. I haven't skied in I don't know how many decades, but I mean, it's pretty cool. The idea of skiing, I can talk about skiing. It's fine by me. Or golf, or any. I like football and basketball, but as far as theology goes, I'll talk about it. It's fine by me. If it changes me, so be it, one way or the other. But I'm kind of like him. I don't want to argue about it. I don't care. You take care of your own beliefs or lack thereof. And, well, they're all beliefs. And I'll take care of mine. So leave your thoughts, folks. I hope you like that. I was glad to have seen it. Neil just went up in my estimation based on that alone. Maybe I'll give him a second shot when I see him on Bill Maher's show or somebody's show and he's, talking about something. So, all right, guys. Hope you enjoyed that. Have a great day. I'll see you on another video and keep thinking theology.